In this video, we will go over lesson 2.5, slides 8 through maybe 32, but I may cut these short because I don't think I can record more than 15 minutes. I don't know, something happened. But let's see, starting with slide number 8, and I may also try to hide in some extra credits. Like remember in class I said if you take a screenshot of this output table and email it to me, I'll add 1 point to your test. I may ask you to do that on one of these problems, okay? So let's start with number 8. I'm going to present this. In class, we already talked about how to create or how to find first, second, and third quartiles by hand and by using StatCrunch. So this is another example of using technology to find quartiles. The tuition costs in thousands of dollars for 25 liberal art colleges are listed. Use technology to find first, second, and third quartile. What do you observe? So what I did was I already typed these 25 numbers in my StatCrunch. Let me show you. Ta-da! And I'm now going to find the quartiles. So if you want to pause the video so that you can type these numbers yourself, go ahead and do that. I even changed the column title to tuition cost. Okay, go to Stat, Summary Stat, and Column. Stat, Summary Stats, and Column. Click on the column that you entered all those 25 numbers. And let's find 3 things, 3 quartiles. You need the first one, Q1. Next one is Q2, but it's not written at, or it's not, it doesn't say Q2 on it. It says actually median. So you need to hold down the command or control key so that Q1 and median are both selected. And lastly, we need our Q3. So if you have those 3 quartiles, click on compute and ta-da, this is how we can use technology, StatCrunch, to find the quartiles. I took a picture of it and I will go ahead and paste it over here and we can read these interpretations, okay? So you know what quartiles are, 25% mark. So what we can say is about 1/4, 25% of these colleges charge tuition $30,000 or less. And they get to say that because Q1 was $30,000. Next, about half, 50%, and 50% is 2/4, right? Charge $36,000 or less. And that's true because the median is 36. And we can also say about 1/2, 50% charge more than $36,000. And lastly, about 3/4, 75%, charge $47,000 or less because our Q3 was 47. We can also say about 25% of these colleges charge tuition of more than $47,000. And that section will be to the right side of Q3. Okay, so I have another picture. I got this from my previous year's slide. Let me go ahead and present this to you. You see, part of this slide didn't load. Try loading. It's not showing for some reason, and I lost the picture. Maybe I can try to insert it again. I'm not sure what is going on. But that picture was from my previous year's slide. And it's gone over there too. Oh no, that's not my previous year's slide. I'm gonna find that picture because I like it so much. I want to show you that picture. Take a look at this slide for me. I wonder if I can copy this picture and put it on our Google slide. I'm sorry what happened to it. It was there and it just went away. But I like that picture because it divides a distribution into 4 pieces using the quartiles. So this is a slide that was missing the image. For some reason it's not. Yeah, I want that picture. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, it's here for now. So I'll talk about this here. So about 25% is below Q1. So this pink region, this is 1/4, and about 50%, 2/4, 50% is below Q2, and about 3/4, 75% is below Q3, and we have another quarter to the right side of Q3. The question is, why is the second quartile also the median? Because the second quartile is where we have 50% to the left and 50% to the right. Okay, but I want to use this picture to talk about interquartile range. The new thing that we will see in the next slide is called interquartile range, or IQR, and that is about the middle 50%. Again, the middle 50%. So the blue and the orange added together. Okay, that is the interquartile range. And how to find that? What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at Q1 and Q3, and we'll see how long this bar is, or this interval is, and this range is. So what you will do is you will do Q3 minus Q1. If you want to know where the middle 50% lies in your distribution, then you're gonna do Q3 minus Q1. So here is interquartile range. Let's go ahead and present this. IQR is a measure of variation that gives the range of the middle portion, middle 50% of the data. So what we do is we take the third quartile and the first quartile and we subtract them. So here's the IQR formula for you. Just like the range formula is maximum minus minimum, IQR, interquartile range, is the biggest quartile minus the smallest quartile. So Q3 minus Q1. Okay, why is this important? Because we're going to use this IQR to detect some outliers. Okay, examining data for unusual observations, something that's way too big or way too small, we call them outlier. This is important in any statistical analysis. So is there a formula for flagging an observation as potentially being an outlier? I mean, how big is too big? Or how small is too small, so that we get to call these things outliers. So here's a formula for you, okay? So we call this an outlier if this value, if this data is greater than 1.5 times IQR below the first quartile. Okay, this is the smaller side. This is the smaller side. Say that the class average is like 70, 80, 70, 80. A lot of people are getting 70s and 80s. And say that somebody just gets a 25 on this test. Then we may be able to identify that 25 as an outlier if that number is 1.5 times IQR below the first quartile. And don't worry, we will actually do an example together. But I wanted to just talk about it first. Next, and to the upper side, how do you determine if something is too big? Okay, if you do 1.5 times IQR and add it to Q3, we create something called upper fence. If it's bigger than this upper fence, then we'll say it is just too big, so we're going to flag it as a potential outlier. So I want you to, and of course we're going to come back and do examples on this method. I want you to remember this thing. 1.5 times IQR. 1.5 times IQR. We're going to use that number, subtract and add to Q1 and Q3 to create lower fence and upper fence. We're going to try to build some fences. So if a data is outside those fences, they are outliers. Okay, so let's see. Step number 1. How do we do this process? Because this process involves IQR, you need to first identify your Q1 and Q3 so that you can subtract them to find the IQR. So step number 1, find that IQR. Okay, after that, multiply that IQR by 1.5. Okay, multiply that IQR by 1.5. That is the number that you will add and subtract. You will first subtract that number from Q1. If you do that, you create something called a lower fence. Okay, anything less than, anything smaller than that lower fence is an outlier. Okay, it's just too small. Okay, how about to the upper fence? You will add that 1.5 times IQR number to Q3. Okay, you will add that number to Q3, and that's what you get. When you add that, you will get something called an upper fence. Anything bigger than that the upper fence is an outlier. Okay, and let's see. I know this is a video you guys can stop anytime. But I'm going to go ahead and show you one example. Find the interquartile range of the data set from the first example. Are there any outliers? Now, what was the previous example? This, the tuition cost. So what I will do is I will go back. You know what? We can just do the IQR right here. We can do Q3 minus Q1. We can do 47 minus 30, and that is the IQR. 47 minus 30 is 17. IQR is 17. But I wanted to show you that we can find IQR on StatCrunch too. Okay? All right, hold on a second. So I'm going to do this example. I'm going to find some potential outliers of that tuition cost. Okay? Maybe one college is charging way too much. Maybe a college is just way too cheap. So that's what we're trying to find over here. Okay? So I'm going out to StatCrunch, guys. Going out to StatCrunch. And what I will need to do is I will go to Stat, Summary Stat, and Column. Do that. And click on Tuition Cost. And I want you to find a couple things over here. Find Q1 and Q3. And find IQR too. There is IQR. Find those three things. And this is the output table that we need to calculate the upper and lower fence. So I got it copied on this slide. I'll go ahead and copy this over here. Okay. I didn't want to copy it over here. I wanted to copy it over here. Okay, and then I'm going to do some typing over here. And I may have to stop this video after this because I think after 15 minutes, my screen recorder kind of freaks out and break. So I'll do this example now. Find the interquartile range of the data set from the first example. Okay, IQR is, I was going to do the subtraction. IQR equals 47 minus 30, therefore 17. But we have that over here, so that's all good. Are you still recording? Yes, it's still recording. See, sometimes, guys, I've been recording, finished the whole lecture, and it wasn't recording. But I hope you're watching this. Okay, next, I'm going to find the lower fence. Okay, this is how you find the lower fence. Lower fence formula is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. Okay, so Q1 is what? 30. 1.5 times IQR is 17. So I need to go ahead and evaluate this. I'm just going to go to, and on this Desmos scientific calculator, I will type in my operation, and it says 4.5. I go back to my slide and say lower fence is 4.5. So what do I know? Any